Welcome to the United Palace of Spiritual Arts here in New York City. I'm Heather Shea, Spiritual Director, and we are delighted that you're here joining us for Sunday service, Spiritual Artistry in Action. We have a very special guest today, Dr. Deepak Chopra, and he'll be here October 2nd, launching his new book, Metahuman. Please enjoy the service.
Hello, I'm Reverend Richard Miner of the United Palace of Spiritual Arts in New York City, the home of spiritual artistry. Thank you for joining us today. At the United Palace, we believe that spiritual artistry is artistic expression as a spiritual journey. We believe that that journey can take many paths, with examples of spiritual art throughout history as diverse as painting, sculpture, writing, singing, and dancing. We explore art in all its forms. This month, we're exploring the idea of wholeness. Recently, I had the distinct pleasure and privilege of speaking to Dr. Deepak Chopra about this very topic and his new book, Metahuman, Unleashing Your Infinite Potential. In his book, Dr. Chopra has proposed the idea that at our very core essence, we are all whole and complete already, and that this wholeness contains the potential for infinite creativity and infinite possibility. The following clips are some excerpts from this fascinating conversation. Not surprisingly, as a speaker, author, and accomplished musician, Dr. Chopra considers himself a spiritual artist. I hope that you'll enjoy hearing what he has to say about this topic and about his new book as well. It's a message of divinely inspired hope, joy, and of course, infinite potential. If you're interested in learning more about the book or in meeting Dr. Chopra in person, please join us here at the United Palace for the world premiere launch of the book, Metahuman, Unleashing Your Infinite Potential. The launch will happen here at the Palace, October 2nd, 2019. All of the information and tickets will be available on our website at theunitedpalace.org. Thank you.
What do you mean by the term metahuman exactly?
Meta means beyond, and human is this incarnation. And so the book is going beyond ordinary, regular, everyday human behavior to the source of all knowing and thinking. Normal behavior, so-called normal behavior, has created an insane world.
So this is truly a transformational book, not only for an individual, but for society and the world as well.
I hope so.
In the book, you said, when you exist as a metahuman, you exist at the timeless source of the self. And I'm curious, do you think that that is similar to what most people would think of as spirit or spirituality?
Yes, the spirit, spirituality of the soul would be correct for metahuman. Can you live from the level of the self instead of the selfie? You know, there's a saying in religious literature, what good does it do a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? So we have sacrificed our self for our selfie. Everybody's selfie is competing with each other at the moment. And that's our ego encapsulated personality, which is basically what everybody else thinks of you, not what you know yourself to be. The difference between self-image and self-esteem.
We are the home of spiritual artistry here, and we believe that artistic expression is a spiritual journey.
Yes.
Many people know that you're a great speaker and that you are a great writer. What many of them don't know is that you're also quite accomplished musically. And I was wondering, would you consider yourself a spiritual artist?
I think so. I think, yeah. Spiritual artistry leading ultimately to spiritual alchemy.
Spiritual alchemy, that's an interesting phrase. Could you talk about that?
Alchemy is the ability to take the raw material of experience, which is sensations. We experience sensations, perceptions, images, feelings, and thoughts. Mix them up and create whatever you want. Just like white light has infinite shades of color that can lead to infinite paintings, your being is infinite and can lead to infinite realities, or what we call experiences. Because everyday experience is not reality. Everyday experience is a narrow band of perceptual activity within an infinite reality.
So you talk about the direct path in your book to this source of all knowing. And would you say that it is just a shift in perception that is necessary and not the long and arduous journeys that so many other paths
the direct
have
path
directed?
says that you can know reality right now.
So what do you think is the most valuable and practical application of moving into meta-reality?
Number one, infinite possibilities for creativity and evolution. Number two, the emergence of Platonic truth, goodness, beauty, love, compassion, joy, equanimity, harmony. And number three, the loss of the fear of death. Because death happens to an experience, not to you.
So again, it comes back to being all a matter of perspective.
As a matter of perspective, I would say, with the words of Rumi, exchange your cleverness for bewilderment. If you're not bewildered by your own existence, then your humanity is incomplete.
So you feel there is hope for the future?
I think we have to be independent of both hope and despair, because hope means despair, despair needs hope. You have to be grounded in the field of metahuman, be independent of both in order to unleash your infinite creative potential. If we grasp this and embrace this as a culture and a society, and we have a critical mass of people who do understand this, then we can hope for a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, and joyful world.
I'm Reverend Todd Humphrey. Thank you for joining this Spiritual Artistry in Action service. In whatever way is comfortable for you, please join me now for prayer. We turn our attention to the source of all knowing, to the source of all thinking. Thank you, Creative Spirit, for this moment. We now release our attachment to worry. We now release our attachment to hope. We rest in the joy of bewilderment as we become that which Spirit is calling us to become. We give thanks for the truth that life is infinite, that we are infinite. We rejoice in the creative power of spiritual alchemy as we go forth and live from the expanded consciousness and creative potential that is spiritual artistry. Thank you, Source. Thank you, Eternal Self. And together we say Amen, Ashe, Aho, and so it is. Thank you again for joining us at the United Palace of Spiritual Arts for this Spiritual Artistry in Action service. You can support this ministry by visiting us at upspiritualarts.org and clicking on the donate button. You can also share this Spiritual Artistry in Action service on your social media accounts. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next week.